Now you
Yeah.
clear the
Yeah.
system.
Fine. Okay. Any idea about Hadoop?
Actually, can you minimize the dialog box?
Developer. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Any idea about Hadoop?
No,
No.
I have no idea.
Okay. Hadoop is like that framework. Okay. Do you know Java?
Yeah, just basic the only.
Core Java, right?
Yeah, basic.
Okay. What is the Java?
Yeah, I forgot all these
No,
things.
no, no, no. I'm just asking. What is a basically Java? So with that, what we
Which
can
is
able to do?
language. It's a framework. We can form the framework
Yeah, same
based
thing.
on.
So using that language, we can develop applications, web application, mobile application, whatever the thing.
Yeah.
Similar, so the is going to act as a framework. Okay. So this is going to create huge data.
Excuse
Okay,
me. Hello.
without structured. Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Actually, your voice is not clear.
1 second. Do you have team viewer?
Team, yeah, just a second. Just a second, hold on. Okay. Hello.
Hello, do you have team viewer?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, just ping your. Otherwise, wait. I will send a meeting ID. Just configure that one.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of trouble. Okay, so come to Hadoop. So as I said, it's like a framework. Okay, so while going with the Java framework, we can able to develop an application, and so we can do anything like that. In why? Because it is an open source in platform independent in Java. Similarly, here the Hadoop also it's like Java. So why? Because Hadoop is developed under the Java platform. Okay. So mainly it is developed for huge data manipulation and processing and analyst. Main purpose for analyst. Okay, analyzing the data, entire data. Okay. So here we just storing the data and maintaining the vast amount of data with cheap and effectively. This is not cost. It is an open source.
For storing purpose only
Okay.
we are using Hadoop.
Sorry.
For storing purpose only we are using Hadoop.
No, first we storing and managing the vast data. It's not a database. Keep in mind, it is not a database. If it is a database, then only we can able to store the data. Okay, it is not a database. We have some data. I put it in the Hadoop and doing some process with the data. That's it. Okay, I have some one. Yeah, for example, today is the date, right? Like 24th day. What are the Facebook chat? Everything is stored in server. Okay, so I need to fetch some particular person's data, particular person's comment data. Okay, so how can I fetch? Is it impossible? Why? Because it is like 2 tera or 3 tera or 10 giga. Okay, so we can't fetch the particular person's comment from the database. Okay, for that only we just pick that particular date record and put it in my Hadoop framework and processing where it locate I can be able to fetch using two types of components, HDFS and map production. It is the component of Hadoop. Okay, we'll see the later one. So keep in mind this is not a database. We having a huge data, just put it in Hadoop and processing something and fetching our requirement. That's it. Okay. So keep in mind the first step we want to understand Hadoop is a framework. It is developed through Java. Okay. So it is only for storing and manage the vast amount of data without any cost. It's a open source.
Yeah,
Okay. So we go to second slide. So that's why I explained Hadoop is not a database here. Okay. This is nothing but distributing file system. Okay. What is a distributing file system? Any idea?
I have no idea about that.
For example, I have 2 gigabytes.
Okay.
Okay, 2 giga. Okay, 2 GB data I have. Today I have 2 GB data. In my machine, I can able to copy within a fraction of some 5 minutes using Pentium processor. Keep in mind. Okay, the same thing I put it in my i5 processor. It will copy within a 3 second.
Okay.
Okay, the same data, 2 GB data, I put it in i7 processor. So within one minute, it entire data will copy. The reason, do you know why the reason?
Because of processor.
Yeah, the processor. Go and see in the task manager. If you have the i7, definitely you have the 5 core. Okay, if it is a i5, you can see there is a 4 core,
Okay.
right? So while going with the Pentium processor, there is only 1 core.
Okay.
Right? So while processing in a single core, it take long time. While going with the 4 processor, it's getting lesser time. While going with the 5th processor, 5 types of processor, we getting very less time. So the reason, while increasing our processor, our time will reduce, right?
Yeah, right.
So similarly in Hadoop, the Hadoop is going to be act as a framework, what I'm said. So under that framework, we're going to connecting with n number of machines, physical machines. Okay, if I put the 10 gigabytes, I mean 10 terabyte of data into that Hadoop, what happened? The Hadoop is going to split it 64 MB. Okay, 64 60, yeah, so up to 20 gigabyte, 20 terabyte. Okay, it's distributedly put it in different systems. While processing, we using that process, we call it as a file distribution, distributed file system. Okay, the break into n number of 64 MB data and put it in each node. Node is nothing but physical machine. Okay, I will show that configuration later. So now you keep in mind the Hadoop components we have two. See here, it is, we call it as a Hadoop distribution file system. Another one is map reduction. So Hadoop is nothing but, sorry, HDFS is nothing but we just giving the data and storing in our, not storing, just temporarily put it in our Hadoop framework. Okay. After that, what I'm saying that in Facebook, I need to fetch the particular person's comment. Okay. So I'm putting that 1 terabyte in that Hadoop system. So it's splitted and put it in different machine. So while I'm fetching that particular person's command, for that I'm using map reduction. Okay, for input we using HDFS, for getting output we using map reduction. Okay, so this is the basic concept. You can see here there is a architecture, HDFS file system, then map reductions. So it is the both core, we call it as a Hadoop Core Component. This both we call it as a normal name Hadoop. Okay, so above that we have a, sorry.
Yeah, for Hadoop, these two are the important ones, right?
Yeah, these two are the important.
Yeah.
Okay. So above that we have Hive and Pig. These are the things later I will explain. If I explain you can't understand, I will explain later. Okay. I said the Hadoop is a framework. Under that we have lot of machines, physical machines. Okay. So that's we call it as a Hadoop cluster. Okay, if I have only one machine, that is we can call it as an Hadoop. But if I have more than one machine under that Hadoop framework, so that is we call it as a cluster. N number of machine we call it as a cluster. Okay, so that's why I'm mentioning the specific type of computing, the cluster designing for storing and analyzing vast amount of unstructured data in distributed computing environment. Okay, so like this, they're going to split. Do you see the rack? What is mean by rack? You are the fresher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rack is nothing but in a rack we can have n number of computers. 1, 2, 3, like this.
Okay. Okay.
So likewise, in a frame, imagine the big hall. The big hall can contain. Imagine you take it to your auditorium, your college auditorium. In this college auditorium, we can able to place nearly 50,000 of computers. 50,000 of computers by putting in this rack. In this rack, we don't find any monitor. We just having only the CPU motherboard. That's it. Okay, so in this rack we placing a number of systems. So these systems are linked with our Hadoop cluster, one machine. Okay, so while the data will come to that Hadoop cluster, the Hadoop cluster going to split to n number of 64-bit data. Okay, 64-bit files. That's why here we call it as a distributed file system. Okay, that each 64 is going to place it in each one of computer, each one of node. Here we not calling as a computer, we call it as a node. Okay, so likewise in Google, get a Google. For example, I'm saying I'm going to search Hadoop. Okay, if I go get into the Google, I'm searching Hadoop. So it's going to fetch n numerous data. So where is going to get it that much data within a fraction of second?
From the database.
Yeah, from the database, but it is not a really database. Why? Because in a database, if I searching the particular name, it's going to pick only one reference value, right? But we getting n number of reference value. So that is can achieve through one Hadoop Big Data. Okay, so now we have n number of numerous systems. He's going to check all the rack and all the nodes and fetching all the data, put it in and showing to you your computer. Okay, this is the concept. Are you understand now?
Yeah.
Okay. So how it internally working Hadoop cluster? So while going with pure Hadoop, we have two components. One is MapReduce and HDFS. While coming to the Hadoop cluster, we have three components: client, master, and save. So this is an architecture. Just view for few minutes. Just try to understand. I will explain.
Okay.
Can you understand anything?
A little bit I can understand.
Okay. So here I am said, right, we have client, master, slave. So the client is nothing but your who giving data into that Hadoop machine. That is, we call it as a client. Okay. So the client may be a file or database or human just putting that file into Hadoop framework or whatever the thing. You just keep in remind. So the client is nothing but input provider. Okay. So while coming to the HDFS, we have two things. Okay. While coming to the Hadoop, we have two: MapReduce and HDFS. While coming to the HDFS, we have once again two: name node and secondary name node. Okay. Then job tracker. That entire three components we call it as a master. In this master, we split it into two. One is MapReduce. Another two things are comes under HDFS.
First year.
Okay, so HDFS is nothing but we consistence of name node and secondary name node. I will explain brief later, but I will explain overview what is the core concept of Hadoop components. Okay,
Okay.
here the name node is going to concentrate with your n number of nodes. I am said right. Node is nothing but your system, physical system. Okay, in each system we have data node plus task tracker.
Task tracker.
Okay, this task tracker are maintained by your job tracker. Okay, this name node is going to maintain your data node.
Data node.
Okay, all the data are put it in your data node. Now, after deploying my data into that node, as I said in a Facebook, today's date I deployed a number of data. So from that data, I need to fetch the particular person chat. Okay, so while fetching that, you want to give some conditions. So that is nothing but task tracker. Okay, so that is not, that job is done by your MapReduce. Okay, so the MapReduce, I'm going to give the command to the job tracker. This person data I need to fetch from my name node. So this job tracker give the command to your task tracker. So wherever your requirement name is going to search in your data node and fetch it and back to your client. This is the concept. Okay, now that base level node we call it as a slave, and above that we have a Hadoop, that is we call it as a master. Above that we have client who giving data and we producing our customized data. So any doubt in this? This is very important. If you have any doubt, let me know. Once again I will explain. Okay, understand at least overview. What is the master? What is the client? What is the slave? Okay. So MapReduce will happening like this. So while giving that input, it's going to mapping and reduce. Reduce in the sense we have huge number of data, but I need to fetch the particular person's data. So that is nothing but reduce. It's nothing but filter conditions. And give to outputs. Once again, it's going to your clients.
So once again, tell me again.
Yeah, okay. I'm giving that input. See that diagram. Okay, we have a huge data input. I'm giving into the database. Here we have a Hadoop everything. In that Hadoop, I'm doing mapping. So I'm said right MapReduce. So mapping is nothing but it's putting in. It's going to search each and every node where it is present, whether it is matching or not, whether it is matching or not. Like they're going to search each and every node. Okay. Once it find it, just put it in our reduce. In that reduce, if you have the duplicate data, it remove it and particular person data only is going to take it and give it in our output file. Okay. So while going with the real time, you can understand more, but this diagram little bit complex. I am not giving any Hadoop structure here. I'm just giving some data and mapping with the different node. So from that node, I'm fetching, I'm filtering the data and put it in an output file. That's it. So overall architecture, this is our overall architecture. So master node also having task tracker, job tracker, and map reducer. Okay, our slave node also having task tracker and map tracker, but our master node we call it as a name node, but our slave node we call it as a data node. Got it? So come to this structure, we seeing here node name node. Okay, so this is we call it as a data node. So same thing, this entire master node we call it as a name node. This entire slave node we call it as a data node. Okay, this is the best example. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data. Okay. I put it in my node. This is node in the sense machine, physical machine. Okay. So here I'm giving 3 replication factor. What is mean by replication factor? Do you know what is mean by replication factor?
No, I don't know about that.
Okay. So replication factor in the sense, for example, okay, in your system, you have some 3 drivers. Okay. So you're going to paste,
C
yeah,
drive.
three drivers, hard drive.
Three
Yeah,
drives.
okay. C and F, D like that. So I'm going to place some data or Excel, one Excel or Notepad or anything. I just put it in C drive. So you thinking about if I delete in that C drive, that the entire data will get disappear. So I need to make it as some backup. So that's why I'm just copy same data and put it in my D drive. Okay. So you once again thinking if I delete this one both, so I just once again making a replication factor in F driver. So now the same data wherever you can able to find,
For D
yeah, everything in all the 3 drivers. So how many replication factor here happened? 3 replication factor. Okay.
Actually, first we deleted the C colon, right?
No, we not deleted. If I deleted, that entire data will disappear, right? So by safer side, I make it a backup in 2 drivers. So that is we call it as a replication factor. The same data I'm just replicated in different drivers.
Drivers.
So here I'm using in Hadoop we can able to give up to more than 20 replication factor. The same data we can save it in same node. Okay. So now I'm make it a 3 replication factor for 5 components, 5 datas. You can see my screen, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 values are considered as each one as individual data. I just put it in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 node is there here. 5 system is there. And just split it and put it in each and every machine. So I'm using 3 replication factor. Okay. So that is the reason you can see the same 2 in node B and node D also. Okay. So likewise we can split it. So while map production, so while going with this HDFS, we just splitting and make it a replication factor for 5 nodes. While coming to the MapReduce, we just picking that only one value. I just from that node E, I just pick it 1. So just once again I'm checking whether the 1 is present or not. No. So I'm going with second. So once again in coming to the third node, I'm going with third data. So already I pick 1 and 2. I will not take it 1 and 2. So I go for 5. So while coming to node A, so I'm once again checking whether it is a 5 or 3 or 2 or 1 is present. Just don't pick that. We just go with 4. So likewise we can identify everything is done by your MapReduce. It's a Hadoop concept. You don't worry about how it's picking and how it's going to give it as our output. So everything is predefined functions. You don't worry about MapReduce. You just give the data and write a program which file you want to pick, which data you want to pick. Just give that input through Java. So that we can see in our practical session. Now you can just understand whatever the data we placed in that node, you just pick it all the data. Don't make it any duplication and give it in our output file. Yeah, predefined functions. We have a lot of predefined functions. We're going to write in Eclipse. We'll see later. Okay, this is the overall concept. So can you remember once again what is the Hadoop? It's open source software and it is not a database, and we can able to implement, able to manage vast data. I'm saying vast data, not a single data, it's a vast data. So the Hadoop having 2 components, HDFS and MapReduce. It is a very base concept. In MapReduce, we have job tracker. Okay. Whereas in HDFS, we have name node and secondary name node. Name node having control of data node. So job tracker having control of task tracker. That's it. So if we know this concept, we just put it in our next step in program. Okay. So this is the concept. So if you have any queries or any requirement, let them know. Okay. So I think who spoke to you? Arun. Okay.
Mr. Arun.
So just ping to Arun and tell about whether you can continuing or you required more than this or anything else. Just give the feedback to Arun. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, sure, sure.
Bye, Ria.